Close encounter. A U.S. spy plane is on the ground in China after a mid-air brush with one of its jet fighters. Former Serbian strongman Slobodan Milosevic is under arrest and behind bars. New economy companies imposing new rules on the employees they fire. And it's more than big sport athletes who get a better than sporting chance to get into college.
This is the CBS Evening News with John Roberts.
Good evening. Another setback to U.S.-China relations tonight after an American spy plane collided with a Chinese jet fighter in midair and was forced to make an emergency landing on Chinese soil. Beijing reports tonight all 24 crew members on the American plane are safe, but officials there say the U.S. pilot is to blame, claiming he rammed the Chinese fighter jet. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin is at the Pentagon with the latest.
The Navy P-3 was crammed with high-tech electronic gear and making one of its regular runs over the South China Sea to monitor Chinese communications. The Chinese, as they frequently do, scrambled two F-8 fighters from a base on the island of Hainan. The Navy plane was about 50 miles south of Hainan when the Chinese jets intercepted it at close range. According to the U.S., one of the F-8s brushed the P-3. The Chinese say the P-3 rammed their plane. The F-8 crashed in the sea, its pilot apparently killed. The P-3 declared a mayday and made an emergency landing on Hainan. The pilot reported none of the 24 crewmen aboard was injured.
It's not a normal practice to play bumper cars in the air. It's too dangerous for everybody, and clearly it was dangerous in this Chinese case as well.
The commander of U.S. forces in the Pacific said there have been other close calls.
Intercepts by Chinese fighters over the past couple of months have become more aggressive to the point that we felt that they were endangering the safety of Chinese and American aircraft, and we lodged a protest.
The U.S. ambassador in Beijing met with the Chinese in an attempt to defuse what could become a nasty international incident.
We've got assurances that our crew is safe and sound and that we'll get to see them soon, and we've got some people on the way down there tomorrow.
But no assurances the plane and its crew will be returned immediately.
We are waiting right now for the Chinese government to give us the kind of cooperation that's expected of countries in situations like this.
U.S. officials say they assume the crew tried to destroy the most sensitive electronic equipment aboard the plane before they landed. But they also assume the Chinese boarded the plane and got a good look at whatever spy gear remained. John?
David Martin at the Pentagon. Thanks. The Chinese aren't likely to be pleased with the results of a secret Pentagon report detailed in today's New York Times. The study concludes that Taiwan is in urgent need of sophisticated new weapons to balance increased threats from China. President Bush will decide in a few weeks' time whether to sell Taiwan new technology, including the powerful Aegis radar system. The chief UN war crimes prosecutor is optimistic that Slobodan Milosevic will stand trial for crimes against humanity. The former Yugoslav president is in jail tonight in his home country, but as Alan Pizzi reports, on far different charges.
The end was brief and melodramatic. The small convoy sped Slobodan Milosevic away from the villa where he had holed up since he was ousted from power last October. Special forces sent in to take him were met with a hail of gunfire and had to back off. Milosevic reportedly threatened to kill his family and himself rather than surrender. The standoff lasted 26 hours. The denial of reality described as typical Milosevic.
He was all the time somebody who was stubborn, and then at the end, when he understood that he might lose his life or position or whatever, he would decide to give in.
And while there was no celebration at Milosevic's fate, neither was there any sign of sympathy.
That's the way it should be.
We hate him. We hate him. He destroyed our life, and he should be in jail.
Milosevic pleaded not guilty today to charges of corruption, embezzlement of hundreds of millions of dollars in state funds, and misuse of power. No mention was made of ethnic cleansing and crimes against humanity in Kosovo, for which the world wants him tried. Justice Minister Vladan Batic said it may take up to 6 months to bring Milosevic to court, and it will be a strictly Yugoslav affair. There is no provision under Yugoslav law for Milosevic to be extradited to face charges before the International War Crimes Tribunal at The Hague. But government officials said legislation to change that is being drafted. For now, Slobodan Milosevic has his own cell and what are called special conditions, including hot water and books. Few of those he ruled by fear for 13 years are likely to see it as unfair if he never enjoys the spring air with them again. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Belgrade.
Despite an urgent plea last week from President Bush to end the violence in the Middle East, there is not even the slightest sign that the two sides will let up. To the contrary, as David Hawkins reports tonight, the violence appears to be moving in a disturbing new direction.
Faced with rising criticism of his government's handling of the crisis, Prime Minister Tony Blair reluctantly postponed the election and is now relying on the army to direct a mass call of livestock.
This is a national tragedy. It seems absolutely right that the army does what it can to help those experts whose job it is to decide how to deal with it.
Columns of smoke rise from the countryside like a battlefield. Hundreds of thousands of sheep, cattle and pigs have already been slaughtered and burned. And when that was not fast enough, the army began dumping carcasses into giant graves. Now, mass vaccination of livestock is being considered. The effect on farming and the lives of everyone in the British countryside has been devastating. Like all the infected areas, Chris Gatton's farm is off limits to outsiders. So we asked him to take this video as government slaughtermen killed, one by one, the dairy herd he spent 30 years building up.
The cattle are going through the crush, they're being injected, they're led out or driven out into a straw shed or whatever, and basically they're falling asleep.
It was only afterward that the sense of loss hit Chris and his wife Jillian.
I think when everything is done and dusted and even the carcasses have been removed, what are we going to do?
It's very sad looking back, knowing that it's taken all these years for my husband to build up this herd, and it's just gone, just like that.
Gone too may be a way of life for thousands of British farmers. Despite the repeated claims of the government, foot and mouth disease is out of control and has been ever since the first cases were discovered back in February. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Devon, England.
Our apologies, a slight miscue on our part. That was Tom Fenton's report from Britain on elections there being postponed. They were scheduled to have taken place on May 3rd, probably now pushed back to June because of the foot and mouth outbreak and how the outbreak now is reaching crisis proportions. Here now, though, David Hawkins' report on escalating tensions in the Middle East and how the littlest victims now are the ones who are being claimed.
A baby girl shot in the head while lying in her stroller. An 11-year-old boy shot in the heart while drinking a glass of milk on his porch. And two teenagers, 14 and 15, blown up while waiting for a school bus. Last week was a particularly deadly week for children here, Israeli and Palestinian, innocent victims in the 6-month-long storm of violence. Today, the body of 10-month-old Shalhevet Pass was carried to her grave on the Hebron hillside, near the spot where a Palestinian sniper fired the bullets that ended her short life. The girl's parents waited a week to bury her, to pressure the Israeli government to seize the hill behind me, where the shots came from. When a child is killed in this conflict, it isn't just a tragedy, it's politics. Mohammed Al-Dura, the 12-year-old whose videotaped death last October shocked the world, has become the poster boy for the Palestinian cause. And now the name Shalhevet Pass is a rallying cry for right-wing Israelis demanding that Israel's military crack down once and for all. About 1/3 of the nearly 400 Palestinians killed since the uprising began were younger than 18. 4 of the 69 Israeli dead have been children. From the beginning, Israel has accused the Palestinians of sending young boys to the front lines, in effect sacrificing them. There's also been criticism of Israeli parents who put their children at risk by living in the hostile environment that surrounds the most isolated Jewish settlements. But one thing seems apparent. As long as the deaths of children are used to score political points, the funeral processions of small bodies is likely to continue. David Hawkins, CBS News, Hebron.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, new questions about last week's plane crash in Aspen. Also, .com workers learning the new rules of layoffs. And a red-faced NASA's latest attempt to reach the red planet Mars.
a place where folks can get a lot of good food for not a lot of money. It's got to be Applebee's. Eating good in the neighborhood. Look at this, Applebee's Combo Barbecue. 2 barbecues on 1 plate. A one-of-a-kind smoked riblets sharing space with 2 mesquite grilled chicken breasts. Is this heaven or what? It's got to be Applebee's. Eating good.
I could dance all night back then. So I was thrilled when my oldest grandson wanted to follow in my footsteps. But before our first lesson, I had a heart attack. I needed to lower my cholesterol.
How will you take care of your high cholesterol and heart disease?
I tried diet and exercise, but it was still too high. So I asked my doctor about Zocor. He told me Zocor, along with diet, can really get your cholesterol down. And Zocor's proven to significantly reduce the risk of heart attack among people with high cholesterol and heart disease. Now my cholesterol is right where it should be.
Zocor is a prescription medicine and is not for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience and about any medicines you are taking. For more information about Zocor, talk to your doctor.
Be good to yourself. It's your future. Be there.
Most dancers are afraid of losing a step. After I had my stroke, I was afraid I'd never dance again. Now I take Bayer aspirin every day, like my doctor said, to help prevent another stroke.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
Now I'm performing more than ever. And when my body is sore, I take extra strength Bayer. It's that strong. It's great to be back.
Bayer. Take it for pain, take it for life.
There's a new 270 horsepower beast on the road that's more powerful than Jeep Grand Cherokee or any SUV in its class. Introducing the powerful and luxurious Bravada by Oldsmobile. Now get a 5-year, 60,000-mile GM protection plan on the 2002 Bravada and every new Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile, backed by GM.
Sis, I snooped in your medicine cabinet. So? You switched to X-Lax.
Yeah, Correctol works with an artificial chemical. X-Lax works with natural senna.
Very effectively, too.
You tried it.
Today's gentle X-Lax with natural vegetable senna. 4 out of 5 users agree. It's dependable overnight.
X-Lax, what a find.
What a snoop.
Today's X-Lax, good morning, guaranteed. And for relief with the added comfort of a softener, try X-Lax Gentle Strength.
Questions tonight about the charter jet crash in Aspen, Colorado that killed all 18 people on board last week. Investigators are looking into why Aspen controllers were unaware of new orders prohibiting planes from attempting nighttime instrument landings at the airport. Orders were issued 2 days before the crash. In new indications of a troubled American economy in the last 10 days, more than 40,000 new layoffs were announced. And Lee Cowan tells us many dismissed employees of the new economy are finding the old economy safety nets are gone.
Mary Welsh thought she had success all figured out. As a sales manager for software giant Computer Associates, she appeared an up-and-comer. Her performance review was glowing. Her overall rating exceeds expectations. But just days later, she received this memo, claiming she consistently failed to meet the requirements for her position. Not only was she stunned, she was fired.
I said, 13 days ago I had my review and I was ranked as one of the top performers, and now you're telling me that I'm being let go for non-performance. You need to explain that.
The answer, her sales were in a slump. But Mary believes the company was disguising a larger problem.
I think by claiming this was non-performance related, they're trying to avoid paying severance.
According to company policy, employees fired for bad performance aren't entitled to severance pay. And at Computer Associates, there were suddenly a lot of fired employees, more than 200 in January alone.
We became executioners.
As a regional vice president, Henry Krause says he was told to make a hit list. Sales were way down, and his bosses wanted names to cut.
I don't think there was one of us that didn't actually realize that this was a workforce reduction.
Last week, even he lost his job.
They terminated the terminators.
The new economy saw a lot of companies offering a lot of benefits to entice employees, including expensive severance packages. But when the times changed, so did employers' commitments. And now many are scrambling to find legal loopholes.
Now times are tighter. Perhaps people are regretting that they have been so generous in the past and are looking for ways to avoid dealing with that.
Computer Associates insists this was about bad employees, not a bad economy. Although it wouldn't comment on camera, it did say the firings were fundamentally different than a layoff. And the company would review some of the terminations to, quote, ensure our actions were appropriate. For Mary, that's not enough.
I followed their policies and I expect them to follow their policies.
So she's suing for severance. It's not about the money, she says. It's about the principle. The new economy should still have room for old-fashioned trust. Lee Cowan, CBS News, New York.
Just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, how playing low-profile sports may get you into big league universities.
I kept telling myself my overactive bladder was no big deal, but I was going so often. And suddenly, right in the middle of the show, come on, Kevin. Grandpa needs a bathroom. I really had to hurry. That did it. I asked my doctor about Detrol.
Prescription Detrol effectively treats overactive bladder, a medical condition. Detrol helps control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Detrol. The most common side effect is dry mouth. Some others may include dry eyes, headache, constipation, and indigestion. Overactive bladder is not normal at any age, so don't wait. Ask your doctor today about Detrol, the brand doctors prescribe most for overactive bladder.
Detrol made a difference for me.
How's it going, Stan?
Pretty good. If we could just move that bun cake and a couple more macaroons, I think we can ship that package to the suburbs.
Good. Here's another one.
Good. Cookie?
Your small business should need its own small business to pay for shipping. For tools to help avoid unexpected surcharges, manage your bottom line, and meet customer demand, check out USPS.com.
When I had started, we could walk into the back of production and say, who's got Bill Johnson's computer? And someone in manufacturing would say, I do, Mo. And they you know, that's got to go today. You know, I promised my firstborn that would be on a truck tonight, and they'd say it's done. And people that work at Gateway are extremely passionate about working with people and helping people.
When you have a cold, even small tasks are a big pain. So get Dayquil, the daytime non-drowsy, congested, stuffy head, sore throat, coughing, aching, fever, so you can get back your day medicine from the makers of NyQuil.
Celebrate, celebrate.
Ask your doctor if Celebrex is right for you.
Celebrate, celebrate.
Did the Boy Scouts lose more than they gained when the Supreme Court gave them the right to keep gays out of scouting? 60 Minutes tonight.
Take weight off and leave it off. We've got a diet that could work wonders, so count calories with us. Wake up to what's happening this week on The Early Show with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Clayson.
It happens every spring. Americans avidly following the March Madness battle for the college basketball championship, while an equally tense competition is determining who will get into college in the first place. That's tonight's Sunday Cover, the growing role of sports in deciding who makes the grade. Westchester County, New York has a reputation for producing some of the top high school lacrosse players in the country, and the colleges know it.
Villanova, I'm looking at Nazareth, Cortland.
A junior and first-rate midfielder, Sean McBride has already been courted by schools on his college wish list. Lacrosse, he hopes, will be his ticket to higher education.
I have like a 78 average. I'm hoping that sports are going to help me a little bit get into college.
Think of college sports, and it's the big Division I schools that usually come to mind. But at many of the nation's smaller elite centers of learning, Athletic programs are actually a much bigger part of campus life.
It turns out that a quarter of the class at an Ivy League school are athletes, most of them recruited, and at some of the liberal arts colleges it's 30-35%.
And it turns out, says James Schulman, co-author of The Game of Life, a study of sports and education, finding students to fill those slots often means compromising academic standards.
While no one's surprised that there's a very high proportion of football and basketball players in the bottom third of the class at the big-time schools. Same is true at the little liberal arts colleges and at the Ivy schools. It's not just the football players, it's also the lacrosse players and the swimmers.
Do these smaller colleges have any business being in the business of athletics?
We found that there are a lot of academic costs. We found that the alumni want less emphasis, not more, on sports. People said, oh, we can't get rid of that program. Sports builds leaders. I mean, look at Bill Bradley. But the data that we found are very clear. And athletes from these schools are no more likely to be civic leaders than anyone else.
So you found in your research that really the rationale that these colleges use to promote athletic excellence really are just a myth.
Actually, there are a lot of costs, and a lot of the things that have been held up as benefits need some rethinking.
Good morning, Swarthmore College admissions.
Swarthmore College in Pennsylvania, one of the top academic schools in the country, was forced to rethink its sports program. Last week, acceptance and rejection letters went out to the 3,500 applicants vying for the 375 slots available at the school.
Keep the barrel up. Keep the barrel up.
In the past, as many as 25% of those slots were reserved for athletes. But this year, after much soul-searching, Swarthmore instituted a 15% cap on athletic slots. It had to drop several sports, including football.
I feel like they don't have any honor, like they lied to me. We'll sever all ties with this school forever, despite having a 5-generation history.
Not giving in to the resulting howls of protest, Swarthmore says the controversial decision will strengthen the remaining sports and put reasonable limits on the impact athletics will have on academics.
We're a small school, we can't do everything. In terms of, academics, we offer Chinese but not Japanese. We offer engineering but not social work. We offer 21 sports now but not 30.
And while some students wonder if this is the beginning of the end,
are we the next team to go?
Author James Schulman thinks Swarthmore is moving in the right direction.
People have to realize that every opportunity given is also an opportunity lost. So if you're taking somebody because she's a great volleyball spiker, you're not taking some other woman who might be really good at writing computer code.
Among Schulman's suggestions in the Game of Life, smaller schools should hire fewer full-time coaches, sponsor fewer varsity sports, and encourage students to organize sports on campus in a club format. We'll be right back.
Our engineers stand behind their GMC professional grade trucks, so they invite you to take the professional grade challenge. Dodge Ram owners be warned, the GMC Sierra Extended Cab has more horsepower than the Ram, gets better gas mileage, and it hauls more. Get 3.9% APR financing with $500 down payment assistance on 2001 Sierra half-ton extended cabs. For details, visit gmc.com today. The professional grade challenge. Choose your truck wisely.
Pepto-Bismol, from heartburn to diarrhea, because you never know.
From spring to fall, it's in the air. From the Sunshine Leagues of Florida to the schoolyards of New York to the golden fields of California, it's allergy season. So talk to your doctor about Claritin, the #1 prescribed antihistamine in America. And when the ump yells play ball, you'll be ready. Claritin, the official allergy medication of Major League Baseball. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pill.
This is ridiculous. First, I emailed to confirm my reservation. I called your 800 number to let you know my flight was delayed.
We're sorry, but we only hold rooms when you call our hotel directly.
I emailed and called.
We understand, but you were calling Central Reservations?
Aren't they all connected?
We're gonna get you that room at another hotel.
Yes, and next time call us at the front desk directly, huh?
So I'm the problem?
Business as usual is the problem. Siebel e-Business is the solution. Siebel, e-business for a customer-driven world.
Bring in your appetite, people. Applebee's all you can eat. Riblets are back. Our one-of-a-kind smoked riblets. All you can eat. It's got to be Applebee's.
Most dancers are afraid of losing a step. After I had my stroke, I was afraid I'd never dance again. Now I take Bear aspirin every day, like my doctor said, to help prevent another stroke.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
Now I'm performing more than ever. And when my body is sore, I take extra strength Bear. It's that strong. It's great to be back.
Bear. Take it for pain, take it for life.
Drowning in credit card debt. That's where the Bryants found themselves, and they're not alone.
Just like a lifetime shopping spree.
It was. Just pull the card.
At the time, it was a blast.
So how much do you owe? Monday, how consumers got into this fix and how the Bryants are getting out of it. Eye on America on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Finally tonight, if at first you don't succeed, try again. After 2 failures in a row, as Jim Axelrod tells us, NASA this week plans to launch a brand new mission to Mars.
For NASA, these were the good old days.
We have
A smashing success. The Pathfinder probe sending a signal from Mars. Trouble is for NASA, it's been close to 4 years since the good old days. 4 years and 2 disastrous Mars missions.
We have not heard from the lander yet,
which have put NASA's future in a troubled orbit. The first was a weather orbiter lost to an embarrassing failure. NASA scientists failed to convert data from English to metric units.
Mars Climate Orbiter was on the wrong trajectory.
And then months later,
we have ignition.
A premature engine shutdown dropped the polar lander off the radar. It was clear NASA cutbacks on Earth had consequences in space.
They both failed. We found the boundary, and we're stepping back from that boundary.
After learning the hard way that it can't pull off 2 Mars missions for the price of 1, NASA won't be cutting corners this time. To get it right, the agency is spending more than $300 million, the combined cost of the last 2 missions. Here's NASA's latest hope for exploration and redemption. The 2001 Mars Odyssey, a 6-month, 500-million-mile mission scheduled for liftoff next weekend.
No one launches it thinking it's not going to work. If we do lose sleep, we're thinking about what other things do we want to do to make sure it's going to work.
If it gets to Mars, Odyssey will orbit over the planet's North Pole, looking for signs of water and a landing spot for future rovers. The Odyssey must work if the agency is to keep the Mars program alive.
If you had 3 back-to-back failures, I think Congress would certainly re-examine how much money NASA is spending on the Mars program, and it would certainly send folks back to the drawing board again.
And staring at the drawing board to get a fix on failure is not what NASA scientists have in mind. They prefer staring at the heavens and imagining the possibilities. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Sunday. Later on CBS, 60 Minutes and the controversial Boy Scout ban on gays. Tomorrow on the early show, the latest on the spy plane standoff. I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
She spent the night pinned in her car. Tonight, a Middle Tennessee woman is recovering from an accident that left her crying for help. Plus, they are saying no to new neighbors. A Hermitage community is trying to stop plans for development in their area. And it's a burning issue that has the Nashville community talking. How should the city dispose of its waste? We'll find out. The news is now.
From your news and information leader, this is News Channel 5 at 5:30 with Lydia Linker.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Antioch.